Alright, continuing our look at the final review, we're going to go ahead and look at rational expressions and equations. This comes from problems 21 through 24. So the first thing that we want to look at is simplifying. And so remember that in order to simplify a rational expression, we're going to factor the top and bottom, and then we want to cancel common factors. So if we look at example A, to factor the top and bottom, the top, we can factor out a greatest common factor of x. We are left with x minus 5. And if we factor the bottom, we have x squared is x and x. Things that multiply to 10 and combine to 7 are 5 and 2. We have same signs in order to multiply to a positive 10, and both are negative. From here we can cancel our common factor of x minus 5. We are left with x over x minus 2. Remember that we cannot cancel the x's at this stage because the one on the bottom is not an x. The whole thing is x minus 2. All right, let's look at example B. If we go ahead and factor, the top is difference of squares, so we're going to get x and x, 3 and 3, and we have different signs. The bottom, we have x and x, things that multiply to 6 and combine to 5, we're going to go with 2 and 3. We have same signs. Both are positive. We can cancel our x plus 3's. And our final answer is x minus 3 over x plus 2. All right, the next one we're going to look at is simplify a product and a quotient. So for this, remember, for division, we want to copy dot flip. From there, we're going to factor everything and cancel common factors. Remember, it just has to be a top and a bottom. And then we multiply straight across. Example A, this is a multiplication problem, so we don't have to worry about flipping the second fraction. We're going to go ahead and start by factoring. So on the left, y squared is y and y. Things that multiply to 5 and combine to 6 are 1 and 5. In order to multiply to positive 5, we have same signs, and both are negative. On the bottom, we have a difference of squares, so we get y and y, 1 and 1, and different signs. Okay, on the right top, it does not factor, so we'll leave it as y minus 1. And the bottom, this is actually a perfect square trinomial. We get y and y. Things that multiply to 25 and combine to 10 are 5 and 5. Again, we have same signs in order to multiply to a positive 25, and both are negative. Okay, so now we can go ahead and cancel our common factors. I see a y minus 1 on top and bottom, and I also see a y minus 5 on top and bottom. That is all that cancels, so now we can go ahead and write what's left over in the numerator. We have a y minus 1. On the bottom, we have y plus 1 and y minus 5. You can go ahead and leave in factored form. You do not have to multiply this out. Okay, last one, or next one, we have a division problem. So the first thing that I want to do is do my copy dot flip. So we get x squared minus 2x minus 24 over x squared minus 16 dot. We flip the second fraction and we get x squared plus 10x plus 25 over x squared minus x minus 30. All right, if we go ahead and start our factorizations. Starting on the top left, we have x and x. We have things that multiply to 24 and subtract to 2 are going to be 6 and 4. My larger number is going to be negative, so we get minus 6 and plus 4. The bottom is difference of squares. This is going to be x and x, 4 and 4, and different signs. All right, on the right side we get the top is going to factor to x and x. Things that multiply to 25 and combine to 10 are 5 and 5. We do have same signs. Both are positive. So we get plus 5 and plus 5. And last one, the bottom, we have x and x. Things that multiply to 30 and combine to 1. We have different signs. So we're going to be subtracting to 1. So this is going to be 6 and 5. My larger number will be negative. All right, let's go ahead and cancel our common factors. We can cancel an x minus 6. We can cancel an x plus 4. And we can cancel an x plus 5. So what do we have left over? We have x plus 5 over x minus 4. All right, so that takes care of multiplying and dividing rational expressions. The next thing we're going to do is look at addition. So in order to add or subtract rational expressions, we want to combine the tops and keep the bottom. All of these are going to have same denominators, so we don't have to worry about finding LCD. From there, we want to factor the top and bottom if possible, and then cancel common factors. So if we look at example A, if I combine this into a single fraction, this is an addition problem. We don't have to worry about distributing a negative. I'm just going to write all of my numerators over one denominator. All right, if we combine our like terms, my x squareds cancel. and I am left with 6 over x plus 1. This does not simplify, so we don't have to worry, and we can't factor it anyway. This is going to be our final answer. All right, let's look at example B. Example B, if we combine this into a single fraction, we get y squared minus 9 over y squared plus 3y. This one we can factor. The top is difference of squares. We get y and y. 9 breaks down to 3 and 3. And we have different signs. The bottom, I can factor out a greatest common factor of y. And I am left with y plus 3. All right, we cancel common factors, so I cancel the y plus 3's. And then we write what's left over, which is y minus 3 over y. All right, that takes care of problem number 23. Last problem. Problem number 24, we want to talk about solving rational equations. So we're going to look at one that the specific example where we have fraction equals fraction. We want to start by cross multiplying and then solve the resulting equation. So for example A, we have 3 over x equals 5 over x minus 8. If we cross multiply, we get x times 5 is 5x equals 3 times x minus 8. My next step, I want to go ahead and distribute the 3. We get 5x equals 3x minus 24. This is a linear equation, so we want to move all variables to one side and all constants to the other. All of my constants are on the right side, so I want to move all of my variables to the left side. If we go ahead and simplify, we get 5x minus 3x is 2x equals negative 24. And then we can divide by 2. We get x equals negative 12. We are not going to give you any problems that involve extraneous solutions, so you are not required to check your answers. Let's try one more. Okay, so for B, we have 2 over 3 times x minus 2 equals negative 1 over negative 2 times 3 minus x. So there's two things that you can do here. You can distribute to clear the parentheses at this stage, or you can, if you do that, you're going to end up having to distribute twice. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and cross multiply first and just multiply the number on top by the number in front. So what do I mean by that? If we go ahead and cross multiply, I want to multiply 2 times negative 2 gives me negative 4 times 3 minus x. I want to multiply 3 times negative 1, which gives me negative 3, times x minus 2. Okay, now we can go ahead and distribute. And if we distribute, we get negative 12 plus 4x equals negative 3x plus 6. All right, this is a linear equation, so we want to go ahead and move all variables to one side and all constants to the other. I'm going to add 3x to both sides. I'm going to move my variables to the left. And that means I want to move my constants to the right, so I'm going to add 12 to both sides. So if we do this, we get our 12s cancel on the left. 4x plus 3x is 7x equals, my 3x's cancel on the right, and we get 12 plus 7 is 18. Finally, we want to divide by 7. This does not simplify, and so we get x is equal to 18 over 7. All right, that takes care of our rational expressions and equations. In the next section, we will finish off the final review by looking at radicals and quadratic equations. So I will see you again shortly.